In 1765, in Boston, Massachusetts, the king made a new law that the British soldiers had to live in the citizens' houses and had to provide food and quarters.
I shall go to the store to restore our food supply.
This law was part of Lord Granville's plan to make the colonies in America pay part of the bill that the king made during the French and Indian War.
I hate those darn soldiers. I can't believe that we have to share our food with them.
They're very rude at the dinner table, especially when we have to provide them with our fuel, candles, bedding, vinegar, salt, cooking utensils, and little amounts of beer, rum, and cider.
I'm so glad I'm staying in a nice home instead of being in a barn.
Some soldiers had to stay in empty houses, barns, and other buildings that were rented.
Hey, I'm going outside to throw some snowballs at the soldiers and fellow patriots.
The colonists hated the soldiers in their home. They treated them very badly, calling them names, throwing snowballs and rocks at them.
Here is the scene of the Boston Massacre. The colonists have had the British soldiers in their homes and in their businesses for 5 years. They are tired of it and they hated it. That is how it leads up to the Boston Massacre.
Hey, I heard that a young American boy named Christopher Snyder was killed by Mr. Richardson, a man who sided with the British.
I hate those British.
There was also a big fight with the British and the colonists.
The colonist is harassing them now.
Guys, no need to fight. We can settle this in court later.
Here comes the crowd with Christmas addicts in the lead.
Boo, boo,
Oh no, somebody killed Christmas addicts.
You monster! You killed innocent colonists! Everybody in the colonies is going to hear about this!
Ordering the court. This is the case of the Boston Massacre.
Yes, this is the case of the murders of the colonists of the Boston Massacre. I saw the whole thing!
They killed Christmas addicts.
Order, order, order!
Christmas addicts was a black sailor who despised the English.
I will start off. The colonists provoked the soldiers by throwing snowballs, clubs at them. Those lobster bats started with the stupid quartering act. Let's take a recess.
John Adams was able to defend Captain Prescott and his soldiers from going to jail. Join us later for the History Time for Kids channel.
Hello, my name is Monica Geller, and on today's History Time for Kids, we will be learning about the Tea Act and how it started the Boston Tea Party. So join me for a cup of tea. But if you are a patriot, coffee. Now I'm here with two ladies, Poppy and Lucy. They have experienced all of this colonial chaos. So tell me, ladies, how did this all start?
Well, it started in 1773 when King George III made the Tea Act that said we colonists could only buy tea from the British East India Company. During the time of the Tea Act, we colonists were all mad about the tax on tea, so we stopped drinking tea altogether.
The British East India Company was given a monopoly to sell tea in America, and all the colonists who sold tea, their jobs were lost.
Yes, Monica, it's very sad, but my husband went to a meeting with the Sons of Liberty too.
What were the Sons of Liberty?
The Sons of Liberty are a group of men trying to make things change. John Hancock and Samuel Adams are two of the Sons of Liberty.
So what was the meeting about?
It was about trying to make things change on things like taxes on tea and the Quartering Act. It was called No Taxation Without Representation. They were all trying to get their message across to Great Britain. Of course, Great Britain didn't listen.
I heard some men dressed up as Mohawk Indians last night. What happened?
The Sons of Liberty dumped over 300 chests of the King's tea into the Boston Harbor. Dressed as Mohawk Indians, they sang a chant. I can still hear it now.
Rally, Mohawks, bring out your axes. Tell King George we'll pay no taxes on his foreign tea.
After that night, they started calling it the Boston Tea Party.
I understand all of you are patriots. There are loyalists and moderates. How did they feel about this?
Well, the Loyalists were shocked that the Patriots would dare to destroy the King's tea. We just did it for independence. Also, the moderates weren't too happy about the dumping of the tea into the Boston Harbor. Some would say it smelled of trouble, and many were afraid of the giant bombs. I wonder how Britain will react to our tea party, and how we turned our harbor into a giant teapot.
I think I have an idea. Well, that's all for the Boston Tea Party today, folks. Next time, join the site of the Intolerable Acts on the way to the Revolutionary War.
What?
Oops.
Hi, this is Abigail James reporting about the Boston Port Act. The Boston Port Act was when England cut off all shipments from England to Boston. It was punishment to the colonists for stopping all shipments from England to Boston. They were also forced to pay for the tea that was lost. I'm going back in time to June 1st, 1774, the year it happened. Did you hear what those Don Monsterbacks were talking about?
No, what?
King George is stopping all shipping from here to England. We'll run out of food.
On top of that, they're making the British soldiers the law enforcers. It's basically martial law.
That tea lover, we have to suffer while he just sits around and makes us pay all those taxes.
As you can see, the colonists are very upset at King George for stopping shipments of supplies, especially Sam Adams. Here's a look at what's going on in England at this very moment. Your Majesty.
Oh, yes. What's the latest with those colonists in Boston?
Not so good. The Loyalists say they're all very mad about what we're doing. The Patriots and other colonies are sending money and supplies to Boston. They're also starting to have meetings. The Loyalists are still loyal to you and do not approve of the mods in Boston. The neutrals have shifted and they're starting to agree with the Patriots.
Oh, well, we should still stop shipments of food, tea, and other goods. They should pay for what they did. I can't believe they dumped all that tea we sent into the harbor.
I suppose. I have now traveled back to May 20th, 1774, the year the Administration of Justice Act took place. In this act, British officials can't be tried for their crimes in colonial courts. This meant that the British could do whatever they wanted to the colonies and get away with it. Sam Adams was especially mad at this law.
I'm so mad. Do they really think we can stand for this? They burnt my family's and friends' houses. This is an outrage.
They burned my house. All my belongings are lost, and they're not even being punished for it. That's the worst part about this.
During this time, the colonists in the Massachusetts Assembly could not make laws for themselves or the rest of Massachusetts. This is one of the main reasons for the Revolution. If you want to learn more about it, you can see our next segment, The Revolution. This is Abigail James, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah!